Brian McGinnley this morning. He and Amy are members of our congregation, and Brian has been working with us as a staff to talk about how do we implement community life, and he has a good perspective on it and has perspective in terms of how it's going to impact all of our ministry. So we've got a couple questions that he's going to answer.
We actually moved here from Europe, and it was our first time in Indiana. We knew nobody, so we let God's plan play out its course. Got involved with Lord of Life really through Westfield Youth Assistance Program. And through Westfield Youth, Amy was a volunteer and a mentor, and then we both worked on the board and got to meet you, Pastor Tim, and Judge Nations, and really saw the great things that were happening there, as well as became very interested in Lord of Life. Well, first, I think it's somewhat unique that we ended up at Lord of Life through really a community life initiative, if you really look at what Westfield Youth Assistance Program is. Community life to me is really an extension or a vehicle to drive Lord of Life's vision. And it is about going out into the community and building relationships and bringing the Word of God to that relationship. We're targeting 4 ministries to begin with. So youth ministry led by George Leonard, and also working with Jeannie Meredith and young families, and the young adult ministry, and the 4th one is the men's ministry. And in each of those, we're building plans with specific objectives, targets, and measurements in order to really drive this reach out into the community. It's been termed a business plan in some aspects. Yes, it is a business plan, because we want to make sure that we've got the fundamentals in place to make these initiatives a success. Living is probably pretty obvious, but we need to go out and live our faith, on a daily basis, and I think that happens really well here at Lord of Life, with just the small group activities that go along, as well as large group. Growing in those relationships is critical, and growing in our faith and using the gifts that God has given us to drive and make more disciples. Community life initiatives will help foster that, and it fosters it through the reach piece of it. So it's, we can do a lot of things in here, which is great at Lord of Life, but there's greater needs even, or equal needs outside of these 4 walls. And for us to go out there and reach and go after that, I think is really critical. Serving sets up a lot of other opportunities, and I think it's neat the way it can work, because we can plan the events for people, and so it's easy for people to map into those, to see it, but it's also a way to connect with your coworker, to connect with your neighbor, to connect with your friend, and get them involved in the community life initiative where they can use their talents. First of all, I look at it and I say, look at what God has already put out in front of all of us. Just in this past year, when you look at what's happened with the Montessori school, and 60 young lives running around here with parents, and the opportunity that presents when you look at being able to put out athletic fields, parks, and walkways for those children to enjoy and use. And it's a great way to reach out into the community, and you can go 23 different ways with how this could work out. I mean, from having coaching ministries going on to forming your own ball teams and having a vibrant activity out there. Lots of different ways, but first and foremost, it's all about we've got to build it, and we need resources and commitments from each and every one in this church community to make that happen. So to me, it's planting the seeds to reap that. I wanna be your hands, I wanna be your feet.